Okay, so we just showed that this was the Draconid meteor shower that happened on October 7th and 8th. And then it says, and the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered. So it's like saying the bride of Christ is ready to be raptured, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So this is talking about Saturn, or otherwise known as Cronus, which is the Greek and Roman god who devoured his own children as soon as they were born. And here's a painting of Saturn devouring his children. So when it says the dragon stood before the woman to devour her child, that has to be Saturn. So Saturn has to be here in this configuration here. Otherwise, it's not the fulfillment of Revelation 12, because there's no other celestial body that has a myth associated with it about devouring children as soon as they're born. It's only Saturn that has that myth. So Saturn has to be here in the configuration. And then it says, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. So it's telling us what this celestial body needs to be right here. We know a celestial body needs to be right at her birth canal, which is this line represents that. But we also know this has to be the person who rules all nations with a rod of iron. So we know from Revelation 19 that he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and on his vesture a name is written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So we know that Jesus is the one who rules the nations with the rod of iron. This celestial body, the child that she's giving birth to, is Jesus. So we have to have a celestial object that represents Jesus. So we know in Revelation 22, it says, I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify to you these things. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. So this celestial object that is right at the birth canal will have to be the bright and morning star. So either that's Venus or the sun. There's nothing else. Venus has been known as the morning star for a long time. However, Venus is only the morning. You only see the Venus in the morning sky certain days of the year. But the sun, that big yellow morning star, you see every single day. We see it appearing to rise over the east, this big yellow morning star. Well, they didn't know in the old days that the sun was a star, but we do now. So we know that, yeah, this is definitely the morning star. It's our big yellow sun that comes up every morning. But in Psalm 19, we get even more confirmation of that when it says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. That's the constellations, saying God created the constellations. It also says that in Job 9:9 and Genesis 1. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night shows knowledge. So the constellations have myths that are associated with them, so they utter speech, and they also show knowledge. They're showing knowledge. There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. So that means everywhere on the planet, their myths have been spread. Their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. So that means every culture across the planet knows that these are the constellations and has the myths associated with the constellation. So it's basically saying it's not just the Jews that have these myths. It's every culture on the planet that the Elohim, that God gave the constellations and the myths to. In them he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber. In the constellations, in the constellations, he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber. So in my opinion, that's open and shut. The Son represents Jesus. No question about it. Now this part, it's talking about the child is caught up to God. So after the birth, after this happens, and we know it happens on October 16th, 2012, and it doesn't happen again until I don't even know when. It doesn't happen for the next 500 years. So we know it happens here, and it says when that happens, the child was caught up to God. Well, the child also represents, just like the dragon represented 3 different things, the child also represents a couple different things, and so does the woman. The woman represents Virgo, and the woman also represents the bride of Christ, or the chosen people on the earth. The child represents Christ, but it also represents the chosen off the earth again. So we have 2 different scriptures, or I'm sorry, 2 different lines right here that says the child is caught up to God, or the chosen of the earth, or raptured, and the woman fled into the wilderness, which is another code phrase for the chosen are raptured, because in my other videos I showed you how Matthew 24 talks about the praised fleeing. Remember those in Judea flee into the mountains. It's the same thing. Flee or fled means to be saved by flight. And you can watch my other videos to see the proof of this. But Matthew 24 says, when you see the idol of terror stand in the hallowed fortress that Daniel talked about, and we just saw that on August 2nd, the steel being placed in the One World Trade Center. Jesus said, when you see that, in Matthew 24, when you see that, let those who shall be praised be saved by flight, by the carrying away into the heavens. Luke 17, where will they be carried away? Into the heavens. It's the very last verse in Luke 17. So this is the rapture right here. The chosen are taken into the heavens, where they have a place that God prepared for them. Notice it says God is that they should feed her there 1,260 days, which is 3.5 years. And then it talks about how there's war in heaven, and Michael and angels fought the dragon, and the dragon fought back but didn't prevail. And the dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which is another word for Saturn, who deceives the whole world, was cast out to the earth, and the angels were cast out with him. And now comes salvation, and the accuser of our brethren is cast down. So the serpent is the one who deceives the whole world and accuses the brethren. And therefore rejoice, those you that are in the heavens, and woe to them on the earth. So it's saying those that have been raptured rejoice, but woe to those who have been left behind. That's what that's saying. Because the devil has come down to you. The dragon goes down to the people that are on the earth. The serpent, the one who deceives the whole world, the accuser, goes down to the earth, is cast down to the earth. So does that mean that the dragon has been, like some people hypothesize that the dragon is actually a reptilian race that's orbiting planet Earth and has holograms down here and is deceiving everybody and accusing people, the chosen, and all this stuff? Is that what it is? I don't know. But it could be that's what it is. And then Jesus come and shoots down their base that's orbiting our planet. I don't know. But that could be what the literal meaning of this is. I don't know. We know there's literal meanings to this stuff. We already know that because of all this other stuff. But I don't know what it is. And when the dragon is cast down, I'm not sure about that either. It says when the dragon was cast down, he persecuted the chosen, and the chosen were given 2 wings of a great eagle, and flew into the wilderness, into her place where she's nourished for a time and times and half a time. So it's just repeating what it said up here. A time is 1 year, times is 2 years, and a half a time is half a year. So this is 3.5 years. The 1260 days is 3.5 years, and this is 3.5 years. So it's just repeating in slightly different detail what happened up here. So the dragon is cast down before the chosen are raptured, and then they're raptured, or no, sorry, first the dragon persecutes them and sends and casts out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. Well, if you click on this word water, it means, it can also mean many people. So this could also mean the serpent cast out of his mouth many people as a flood after the chosen, that he might cause them to be carried away of the flood. Without going into too much detail, I'll just say that I know, myself included, that people are being persecuted by groups of what's known as gang stalkers. And this could be what that's about. We know it's happening. And if that's not happening to you, then that's your own experience. But I'm telling you, because I know, because it's happening to me, there is persecution happening right now. And who's doing it, I don't know. But this is saying that the dragon is doing. This text is saying that the serpent is doing it. The deceiver, the accuser is doing it. So whether this is meant to mean a literal flood or many people, I don't know. But most likely it means both, because in so many other texts of these it means both. But I don't really know. And the earth helped the woman and swallowed up the flood. So are these people going to be swallowed up by the earth? I don't know. So the woman is the chosen or raptured off the earth, and then the dragon is angry about it and goes to make war with the remnant of her seed. And the word remnant is this word right here, which is the masculine plural of this word, which means to be left behind. So the dragon is literally going to make war after the rapture. This is telling us that after the rapture, the dragon is going to make war with anyone who's left behind, who keep the commandments of God and the testimony of Jesus. So is this the people that are going to serve as the witnesses? I don't know, maybe, but I do think that some of these left behind are going to be the hypocrites, because remember, Jesus said, "Woe unto you hypocrites." So woe to those left behind. Woe unto you hypocrites, who make long prayer for a pretense, and on the outside appear so beautiful and clean, but on the inside are full of vile and disgusting filth. Remember he said that? There are hypocrites who pretend that they are religious, that they pretend, whatever religion it is, they pretend that they put themselves out like they're this holy person, but in reality they're not. The dragon's going to make war with them, and not only will they be getting the wrath of God along with all the other people, but they're also going to get this really special wrath from the serpent. So the hypocrites get even worse. They get an even worse time than just the people that are just ignorant. The hypocrites get far worse, and I think that's fair. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I just think it's just so important, and I wish more people could see it. But I guess that's just the way it's supposed to be. If people don't see it, they don't see it. But anyway, the rapture can't happen until this happens right here, and I certainly don't know when it's gonna happen. But it can't happen until after this. That's clear from Revelation 12. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll go ahead and let you go. Bye.